What's up, YouTube? How are you guys doing? It's Paulie here, and I'm talking about UFC on Fox number 5. The card is stacked. BJ Penn's coming back, fighting Rory McDonald. Nate Diaz is getting the fight for the championship versus Benson Henderson. We got Mike Swick on the card, and one fight that really stacks this card up nice is Shogun Rua, Mauricio Shogun, versus Alexander Gustafsson. A fight that could be the top on a pay-per-view card. I mean, he just came off that fight, Shogun, fighting Dan Henderson, which was my guess for fight of the year. And he has such a long history of kicking ass, man, ever since the old Pride days. He's one of the last sick Pride fighters that's still pretty close to the top. And although he didn't do that well against John Jones, people are really underestimating Shogun in this fight. I think he's a positive 250 underdog against Alexander Gustafsson, and that's a little weird, don't you think? That Shogun is the major underdog versus the Mauler. The Mauler just came off a decision victory versus Thiago Silva, where Silva hung in there, but he got smacked around. And he knocked out Matushenko. I think Shogun would knock out Matushenko pretty fast, too. Totally annihilated Matt Hamill, made him retire. I think he's coming back now. And the only time we see any weakness was at UFC 112, where Phil Davis just threw Alexander Gustafsson across the ring and choked him out in the first round. So we can see that because of his height and his skinny 205-pound, 6'5" frame, that there is some, you know, he's got good sprawls, but there is some weakness when he gets in there against a really, really top-rated wrestler, which Shogun is not. But Shogun's a striker, and although Shogun has a serious reach disadvantage against Alexander Gustafsson, you know, Shogun can bang, and Alexander's got 9 knockouts, 3 submissions, 2 decisions, and he was submitted once. Shogun, on the other hand, has been one of the best fighters for years. He showed weakness a couple times, once versus Forrest Griffin, and you know, he didn't look that good against Dan Henderson in the first 3 rounds, but hung in there and put up a fucking amazing fight, man. You know, and before that, he did knock out Forrest Griffin in Brazil in UFC 134 in the first round. So he avenged that loss, but didn't look good against John Jones. But, you know, he was a champion at that time, you know. So he got his belt for beating Lyoto, hung in there with the best, hung in there with Dan, hung in there with John Jones, hung in there with Forrest Griffin, beat him, beat Brandon Vera. And I'm going to have to say that Shogun is going to win this fight. I think that it's going to take a lot of effort from Shogun. It's going to be one of the last great Shogun fights we see. He's only 31, but I'm saying great fight. You know, Shogun's put on some great fights, and this is going to be one of his last great fights. And you guys are underestimating him right here, thinking that he doesn't have it. He's still got it. Gustafsson is going down. Put your money on Mauricio Shogun Rua. How could you not? You think Gustafsson's going to become champion? Hell no, baby. He's not. And part of the reason is because Shogun is going to put on a sick fight. It's going to be nice. I'm not saying it's going to be as good as the Dan Henderson fight, but wake up, guys. Shogun's here to wake you guys up in Seattle. Put your money on Shogun. Paulie G said, put your money on Shogun. All right? I hope you're watching this review after the fight takes place and thumbing me up, man, because all those other punks are saying Gustafsson's going to win, and they don't know what the hell they're talking about.